Good morning. How are you? How is your day going? How is your day going? Say you come look with pretty eyes. Good afternoon. Same here. Good afternoon. How is work going? Are you at work? Okay, you're at home. Okay, you're enjoying your day now, right? Okay, all right. Topic to discuss today. So you can ask me any question. You can ask me. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm at home today, so want to discuss a thing that most men ignore, which is any question at all, any question. But today I'm talking about gonorrhea, and this is one of the popular sexually transmitted infection that some men suffer from, and some of them ignore it, and they don't really know that gonorrhea is something that you don't joke with. Yes, gonorrhea can be cured. You understand? It has treatment. Although it's not a virus, it has treatment. But leaving it untreated for long term can actually damage your male reproductive system. So that is why I'm here to discuss some of the things gonorrhea can do to you as a man in your body. Now, I don't know if I'm back live again because my life cut off. I have a disconnection. So this is what I normally experience anytime I change position. So I don't really know the position I'll be. Say, are you sure? Are you sure any question? Yes, I'm sure any question. Sorry, my life, I was having network issues. I don't know. It's like I'll change position. Let me just let me scroll. Let me move this thing. You can ask me any question. Feel free. Feel free to ask me any question. This anytime I sit here, I normally have network issues. So I'm in position right now. I think like this is okay. Let me just put change position. I'm coming. Oh, yeah, this one is okay. So you can ask me any question. Feel free to ask me any question. That's why I'm here. That is why I'm here. So I was talking about gonorrhea before this network interrupted me. I don't know. Anytime I come live, I normally have network issues. It's very, very when I'm saying something important, I'll be just be cut off. Any question at all. So I was talking about what gonorrhea does to you as a man because it's a popular sexually transmitted infection that most men ignore. And if you leave it untreated, it can actually affect your reproductive system. Yes, you heard me. Now, gonorrhea is a sexually transmitted infection caused by bacteria. Now, it's mainly transmitted through sexual intercourse, unprotected vaginal sex, oral sex, anal sex. Now, for those of you that don't know what they call it, oral sex is, for those of you that does is it licking plates? Sorry for me to use that word, licking plates, blow job, all those kind of things. You use your mouth to lick the genitals area, the clitoris, just for stimulation, just for pleasure. That is also oral sex. So you can get gonorrhea. It can be transmitted through that means. And when gonorrhea enters the man's body, because I'm focusing majorly on men for now, on men. The first place is normally attacked is your urethra. Now your urethra is where urine and your semen passes out. That is why one of the earliest symptoms of gonorrhea is that burning sensation you experience during urination. You understand? That period you urinate and you feel as if there's pepperish sensation down there. As if someone puts pepper in your urethra. That is one of the symptoms of this gonorrhea, because this bacteria causes inflammation in your urinary tract, causes inflammation, ongoing inflammation in your urinary tract. That is why gonorrhea is classified as one of the pelvic inflammatory disease. And you know what inflammation is? Inflammation is swelling. Another word for inflammation, anywhere you see inflammation in anywhere, this it just simply means swelling. So it causes inflammation in your urinary tract, which is your urethra. Are you a Christian, and how do you know you're a Christian? So I don't want to be distracted. Don't worry, I'll come back to your question. Just listen to what I'm saying, okay? Don't worry, I'll come back to your question. Like I told you, I'll answer any question you want me to answer, even if it's not related to what I'm saying. Any question at all. Okay. So it causes pelvic inflammatory. It's considered as one of the pelvic inflammatory disease, because once it enters your urethra, it causes inflammation. You understand? That is why you experience that burning sensation down there when you urinate. And another thing gonorrhea does is that it causes discharge from the penis. Some persons might notice whitish, greenish, yellowish, or maybe that discharge that looks like pus-like discharge with pains. With pain. Some of you men do notice this thing, but you ignore it. You don't have to feel embarrassed. No, you don't have to feel embarrassed. The earlier you treat this bacterial infection, the better. Yes, it's called gonorrhea. Yes, it can be treated, because some of you, once you notice that something is treatable, you just ignore it. Some of you just start taking antibiotics anyhow. Start taking any type of antibiotics, herbs, without proper prescription, without proper diagnosis. You're not supposed to start taking antibiotic without diagnosing, without any screening test to know if you really have this gonorrhea, because you don't start taking antibiotic, because some strains of this gonorrhea is becoming more harder to treat. And the reason why it's like that is because of misuse of antibiotic. When you misuse antibiotic, your body becomes resistant to it. Minor antibiotic that is supposed to treat this infection becomes more harder. You understand? So you don't do that. Now, if gonorrhea is left untreated, it can travel upward to your main reproductive organ. And one of the places it affects is your epidermis. Epidermis is like a coil tube just behind your testicles. Now, this epidermis is where your sperm is stored and mature, because your sperm is produced in your testes. When it's produced in your testes, then it transfers, moves to your epidermis. Is where your sperm is stored and mature. Now, when gonorrhea enters in your epidermis, it causes inflammation. What we call it is epididymis. Sorry, the name is kind of a little bit confusing to pronounce. So it causes inflammation of the epidermis, and this can affect your fertility. You understand? It can disrupt sperm movement. That is why when you leave gonorrhea untreated as a man for a long time, yes, it can actually affect your ability to father a child, because it can make it harder for you. Yes, it have cure, but you don't have to allow it to have long time damage around that area. So if you notice any of these symptoms I'm mentioning, you notice burning sensation when you're urinating, as if there's pepperish sensation inside your urethra when you pee, or maybe you notice discomfort during ejaculation when you about ejaculating, or you notice pus-like discharge, or you notice severe pelvic pain, or maybe yellowish discharge, greenish discharge, please go and do a screening test. Because if I should ask some of you now, when last you went for a screening test, like you went for a proper STI screening, some of you will say 3 years, 1 year, thereabouts. I don't know what you're scared of. Make sure you go for a screening test to know if you have gonorrhea or not, particularly if you have some of these symptoms I'm mentioning. Don't just ignore it, please. Don't just ignore it, because it can damage your reproductive organ, your reproductive system as a man. And some men don't even have symptoms. That's one of the things about this gonorrhea. It's not every man that normally have symptoms. This bacterial infection can be in your body for years without showing symptoms. That is why it can easily infect your partner without your partner knowing and without you knowing. And for women, it's a problem for us. Imagine having a partner that infects you with gonorrhea without even knowing that he or she has gonorrhea. It can cause PID for us women, and that PID can affect fertility in the sense that it can cause what we call scar tissues in our fallopian tubes. Sorry, let me just do something. It can cause scar tissues. It can cause scar tissues in our fallopian tubes. So, if you have any question concerning what I'm saying, just drop it in the comments, please. Let's interact. Let's interact. If you have any question concerning this gonorrhea of a thing, don't just leave it untreated. And trust me, when this thing enters the epidermis, your reproductive organ, it's not something you want to experience because the pain you experience down there, severe testicular pains, pelvic pain, pain during urination, because it affects your urinary tract. So treating it early is more better. You don't have to leave it untreated. And if you must treat it, don't misuse antibiotic. Don't start taking abo, herbs, they cure this one, don't they cure that one. Don't do that. If you must treat gonorrhea properly, go to the hospital, see your doctor, let them do a screening test on you, give you medication. And if you are starting this medication, don't take today and leave tomorrow. Don't take, maybe the medication is supposed to last for 7 days and maybe you took 3 days and maybe you don't notice any form of symptoms or pains again, and you thought that everything has cleared and you stop your medication. It's not done that way. When you do that, you're making your body resistant to these antibiotics, honestly. And when you're resistant to these antibiotics, some strains of this gonorrhea, when you're resistant to the antibiotic, it makes it harder to treat. That is why some of you will keep on treating infection that refuse to go, because you're misusing antibiotics, you're misusing antibiotics. So gonorrhea can potentially make it harder for you as a man to father a child, honestly, if you don't take action when you're meant to take action, if you don't treat it when you're meant to treat. If you have multiple sexual partners, it makes it more harder because you as a man, as you're treating, your partner is supposed to treat also. Your sexual partner is supposed to treat also. Because if you only treat gonorrhea, only one partner treating gonorrhea and the other partner is not treating, you might get infected again. It's like starting afresh, it's like wasting your time. So if you are treating gonorrhea as a man, specifically this video is for you men. This live stream is for you men. If you are treating gonorrhea as a man, don't just treat alone. For those of you that have sexual partner, make sure that your partner also treats. Take them to the hospital, let the doctor examine them, run them tests, and let them treat. Because if you treat only you're wasting your time because you might get the infection back still from the same partner. So that is it for. If you have any question, you can just drop it in the comment section. So one of the ways it spreads is through vaginal sex, unprotected vaginal sex, through oral sex. Now, for those of you that you do blow job, licking of plates, all those stuff, it's can get it through that means anal sex. You understand? And when this infection, this bacteria enters through your mouth, it can cause infection of the throat also. So some of the symptoms you experience as sore throat might be actually gonorrhea that you left unnoticed because it's throat. You understand? So it can affect your throat also. So don't just leave it untreated. Make sure you run a test. The only way to know if you have gonorrhea is by running tests. Yes, there are symptoms that can suggest you have gonorrhea, just like painful urination when you're urinating. Some men, when they have this bacteria, when they are urinating, they are shouting because of the pains. Like I told you earlier, when this bacteria enters your body, the the first place you usually affect is your urethra. Your urethra is where your urine passes. Your urethra is where your semen passes. So it affects this urethra, and this bacteria causes inflammation of your urinary tract. That is why it is called PID. That's pelvic inflammatory disease. And if left untreated, it can travel upward to your reproductive organ as a man. And the first place it normally attacks is your epidermis. So when it attacks your epidermis, because your epidermis is where your sperm is matured, is where your sperm matures, is where sperm is stored. You understand? It can cause inflammation of your epidermis, and this can affect sperm movement and your fertility. So you don't just leave it untreated. So if you have any question, just drop it in the comment section. So my friend, are you still there? He asked me a question. He said, are you a Christian? If yes, how do you know you are a Christian? If no, how do you know about your creator? Okay. Although it's not related to the topic I'm saying now, but I'll answer you. Yes, I'm a Christian. Says, if yes, how do you know you're a Christian? Because I am born again. Yes, now being a Christian is not all about going to church. That's just the truth. Being a Christian is having a personal relationship with God. You understand? Loving God, doing His will. It's not all about doing church work. You understand? So it's not also all about being a family where they are raised like your dad is a pastor, your mom is a reverend or whatever, I don't know. But that does not qualify you to be a Christian. Being a Christian is having a one-on-one relationship with God. Okay, so if no, how do you know about your creator? How I know about my creator? Okay, um, how will I put it? Okay, how I know about my creator, because when you look at the world itself, you look at the universe, you come out, look at the stars, you look at the moon, you look at everything created, you should have an understanding that this thing don't just appear from nowhere. There's a creator somewhere. You understand? When you look at how things are formed, it doesn't just appear from nowhere. There's a creator somewhere. So that is to ask you who actually is the creator. And that is God, right? Because nobody can do all these things. The Bible explains it that God created this. He's the creator. He said, let there be light, and there was light. Let there be he divided the light from the darkness. He made the firmament, he made the bed, he made man. So the Bible is already pointing to a direction that he's the one that created everything on earth in heaven. So that is how you know that there is a creator. Hope I answered your question. Hope I answered your question. Are you still there? Hope you have not left me. Are you still there? Worry boss. Are you still there? My friend from Port Harcourt. Are you still there? Hope I've answered your question. Give me a yes if I've answered your question. Then you can ask me any question at all, even if it's not related to what I'm actually discussing in this life. Like I was discussing about gonorrhea, what gonorrhea does to men. But any question you want to ask me at all, whether religious, relationship, school, career, any question at all, you're free to ask. You understand? As long as it's not something bad, I'll answer you genuinely. That's what I'm here. So are you still there? Let me know. Let me know. So for those of you joining my life now, I was talking about how gonorrhea affects you as men, because we overlook all these small small things and see it as nothing. And this is one of the reasons some men are having fertility issues. Women are not the only one having fertility issues. Actually, some of the low sperm count some men are experiencing, some of the fertility issues that they have, is as a result of untreated infection. Tell me why you as a man will have several sexual partners and you don't see the need to go and run a test to know if maybe you have any form of bacterial infection. The only thing people I know that most men are scared of is HIV, hepatitis. But in reality, HIV and hepatitis is not only the sexually transmitted infection you can have as a man. That is not only the sexually transmitted infection you can acquire as a man. There are other sexually transmitted infection that can affect your reproductive system, that can affect your body. You understand? That can even make it harder for you to father a child or children. And one of them is this gonorrhea. Gonorrhea can be in your body. Sorry. Gonorrhea can be in your body for years. Thank you. Gonorrhea can be in your body for years as a man without you even showing symptoms or even knowing. And that is one of the bad side of it. That is one of the bad side of it because when this bacteria enters, why for some men they do have symptoms and they ignore it, and which is bad. Which is bad. Don't ignore any symptoms like that. You understand? If you have any form of irritation of your urethra, or maybe when you peel you feel pains, is notice some kind of funny discharge that is yellowish whitish, it's not something to feel embarrassed about. There are hospitals at every corner, different places. Just walk into the hospital, talk to your doctor and run a test. Don't start taking antibiotic without proper diagnosis. That is one thing people mistake. That's one of the mistake they do. Because when you start taking antibiotics, start treating yourself, taking more, doing this one, self-medication, you are indirectly making your body resistant to some of these antibiotics. That is why some strains of gonorrhea today are difficult to treat because people are misusing antibiotics. You are misusing antibiotics. So when it's supposed to work, it won't work again. It makes it difficult to treat. You will treat infection and treat infection. Infection is refusing to go because of you are misusing antibiotic. You're not supposed to take or treat um any form of infection without proper diagnosis. Because when you run a screening test, they will tell you the kind of antibiotics that is sensitive to the bacteria that is resistant to it also. Sorry, that is sensitive to the bacteria and also that is resistant to it also. So you know the one that you take that would target it. You understand? So that is it. If you have any question, drop it in the comment section. Don't just keep calm, just drop it in the comment section. So if I should ask some of you genuinely, when was the last time you went for a screening test? Like you walk into a lab, walk into a hospital, and you told them, "I want to run a test, both culture test, both urine test, both HIV, hepatitis." When was the last time you actually went to the hospital to do such kind of test? Some of you will start saying 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and It's not right. It's not right. If you are sexually active as a man, sorry, I'm coming. If you are sexually active as a man, you know that you are sexually active. You should be running tests at least every 6 months or pata once in a year. But that's bad. At least 6 months, 3 months. You should be running tests to know your status, to know if you have any form of infection. Don't just stay there because all this minor infection you're overlooking, you're saying is nothing, can actually cause you a lot. Can cause you a lot. I think I need to change position. This area I am, I don't like it. Let me unplug this thing and change position. Sorry, someone is asking a question. Say, how does gonorrhea affect men? Okay. You need to understand that gonorrhea is a sexually transmitted infection. You understand? It's an infection you get through sexual contact, whether oral sex, anal sex, or maybe unprotected vaginal sex. Sorry, let me get something straight. Unprotected vaginal sex. Now, this gonorrhea is caused by bacteria, not virus. It's not caused by virus. It's not caused by fungi. It's caused by bacteria, and gonorrhea is curable. So any stage of gonorrhea can be treated, but the issue lies on when it's left untreated for long. If you allow this bacteria to be in your body for long without proper treatment, maybe for years, it can cause damage to your body. And one of the areas it can cause damage is your reproductive system, your reproductive organs. Because when this bacteria enters your body, the first place it normally attacks or affects is your urethra. Your urethra is where your urine, your semen passes through. Now, when it affects your urethra, this bacteria can cause inflammation of your urinary tract. That is why gonorrhea is called PID, one of it classified as one of the PID, that's one of the bacterial infection or disease that causes PID, that's a pelvic inflammatory disease, because it causes inflammation. Anywhere you hear about inflammation, inflammation simply means swelling. That's just the is simple name of inflammation, swelling. Now, if that is why the one of the earliest symptoms of gonorrhea is that burning sensation during urination, because this bacteria causes inflammation of your urinary tract. Like I said before, it affects your urethra where urine passes out. So one of the earliest symptoms to show that you have this gonorrhea, one of the earliest symptoms is burning sensation during urination, that pepperish feeling you feel when you are urinating. You understand? Then, if it's left untreated, it can build up upward and enter into your male reproductive system. And one of the places it attacks is your epidermis. Now, your epidermis is just like a coil tube behind your testicles. I don't know if I'm communicating properly. I'm trying to answer your question. How does gonorrhea affect men? Now, the testicles, the what? Sorry, I was saying something. Your epidermis. Sorry, your epidermis is a coil tube behind your testicles. The main work of the epidermis is to store sperm. Is where sperm is stored and mature, because your sperm is produced in your testes. Then after production is transferred to your epidermis, is where it's stored and it's mature. Then during sexual arousal, when you're about ejaculating, it contracts, allowing this sperm to move into your vas deferens. Your vas deferens is a tube that connects your epidermis to your ejaculating duct. From your ejaculating duct, then through your urethra. You see how it's connected? You see how it's connected? Okay. Now, when gonorrhea enters your epidermis, it causes inflammation of your epidermis. There's a name they call it, it's epidermitis. Yes, epidermitis. That's inflammation of the epidermis. When this happens, it can affect sperm movements. Like I told you, the epidermis is where sperm is stored, it's where sperm is mature. Yes, gonorrhea can be treated, it has cure, but when left untreated for years, it can cause long-term damage. People that have this untreated gonorrhea might find it difficult, or maybe potentially find it difficult to father a child, not because this infection is untreatable, but because it's left untreated and it went and damaged the areas in your body. I don't know if I'm communicating. Now, this is how this bacteria can cause damage to your reproductive organ as a man. Now, some men may experience some kind of discharge from their penis. Some may experience whitish discharge. Some may experience yellowish discharge. Some may experience a kind of greenish discharge. Why some might experience pus-like discharge, like pus coming out. That is kind of chronic or untreated one for long. So you don't have to allow this bacteria to be in your body for long without treating yourself. It's not good. And if you must treat it, don't start taking antibiotic unprescribed, because it can make you resistant to it. Let me close. Let me close this door. It's making noise. So I don't know if I've answered your question. Hope I've answered your question. You can ask me any question you want to ask me. Just feel free to ask. Okay, someone is asking, can gonorrhea be treated with herbs? Is that your question? If gonorrhea can be treated with herbs? Sorry for my oily skin. I have very oily skin. I easily see the skin. Oh yeah. So you're asking if gonorrhea can be treated with herbs, right? The truth is that it's best you go to the hospital and run a screening test and treat it properly. Not like I'm downplaying herbs, because herbs is one of is the things our forefathers used before modern medicine. You understand? So I'm not really downplaying herbs. You understand? Because some some of the modern medicine, like before modern medicine, there was herbs. So I'm not saying that gonorrhea cannot be treated with herbs, but all I'm saying to be on a safer side, because that herbs you don't really know the quantity you should take. Some of them that say they cure gonorrhea, they cure this one. The best way to treat gonorrhea, because there are antibiotics that can treat this gonorrhea properly. So why will you risk it taking herbs? Go to the hospital and get diagnosed properly and start your treatment. And once you start treatment, don't stop halfway. Don't stop your medication halfway when you are treating gonorrhea, because if you do, you're indirectly making your body resistant to this antibiotic. That is why some strains of gonorrhea is becoming more harder to treat, because people are misusing antibiotic. They treat as by symptoms. Once they have some certain kind of symptoms, they start taking all sorts of antibiotic. And is it ampiclox, cipro, different kinds of antibiotic without proper diagnosis, without proper medical attention. So when you do that, you're indirectly damaging your body and making your body resistant to this antibiotic. If maybe a particular type of antibiotic or a small type of antibiotic is supposed to cure your bacterial infection, it won't cure it. They have to use either higher dose or a different type. So you're indirectly causing harm to yourself. Don't take herbs. I'm not saying herbs are bad when it comes to treating gonorrhea, but to be on the safer side, go to the hospital and get tested and get treated properly. Gonorrhea is curable. It's not like HIV. It's not like hepatitis B that you cannot cure. It's have cure. No matter any stages it is, whether it has been in your body for years, it can be cured. So why